is like I'm low-key finding this state of myself in retrospect. I'm low-key finding this state of myself kind of funny. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And I'm genuinely not trying to be mean to myself. Like, genuinely. But I just find it kind of funny. I don't know what other word can I use to describe what I feel, but I just think that it's funny. Yeah, so let me explain, right? So I was just thinking, right, that like I don't think I've ever experienced this type of like episode before. I mean, it's like a normal depressive episode, but it has its different qualities. Okay, so it had a different quality today, like a different way of like, I don't know, creeping up on me. I mean, I actually did feel it creep up like last week, like pretty much earlier than this month. Like, I didn't know that it would like have this effect on me. And looking back, okay, now, like at this moment, I am not in the same depths of despair as like how I was 1 hour ago or like the day before. But looking back on it, like okay, so what exactly is this experience right now? So what I am actually experiencing right now is like I am in a constant state of questioning whether or not do all the things that I do actually matter. So it's like, okay, an hour ago, actually a day ago, last night. So last night, as in every single thing that I did, I was questioning. So I was like watching this movie, right? I was watching Lady Bird. I love Lady Bird. And literally, I was just writing notes on how I love the movie. And I was like, girl, this isn't even. And my mind was like, why are you even writing this? This does not even matter. Like, this is not meaningful. And like, I started to think like, everything I say isn't meaningful, doesn't mean anything or whatever. And then that sort of like I'm learning about like this, the Big Bang thing that I'm trying to do advanced reading, and I'm reading my science book that I can describe it as it expanded. Like, you know what the Big Bang is actually just like this packed state of like energy and like density, and then it's just expanding. Like it like NASA describes it as like the simultaneous appearance of space in the universe. So like, and then other scientists say that it's like continuously expanding, like its effects, the microwaves are still there, like the cooling down stuff, it's still there. So I feel like I think I'm using that as a way to describe it right now. Like it expanded and it's still expanding because it came from this idea that do I even matter to other people? And do I even matter to other people? And so that just like that idea just keeps on expanding and like to other very very petty stuff in my life, like every single thing I do, like eating, drinking, watching a movie, sleeping and like having my own ideas and thoughts about certain media that I'm watching and etc. So it's basically every single thing I do, I question it. And it's not just like on a shallow sense, it's on a deeper sense. So it just made me feel miserable in a whole different way, because I never actually had those thoughts. So it's like a new experience. It's like a new experience. I genuinely want to talk about this because to me, it's just funny. It's funny in the sense that like I find that these nuances are things that I have never expected when dealing with depression. Like I never knew that there were actually these types of experiences, very very nuanced experiences. And it's funny because I used to compare it to like I used to compare I still compare my experience of depression to other people's experience of it, when in reality everybody thinks differently. Like naturally everybody thinks differently, so that means that everyone's manifestations of their mental illness is different. And what I also find kind of funny is okay, another point that I find kind of funny is that I obviously think differently than most people. Like essentially people with depression think very much differently compared to normal people, in the context of their mental illness and how they like process things, I guess. And personally, thinking about that is like having these realizations that, oh, that's actually how I'm thinking right now. It's not actually how other people think, how other people with no mental illnesses actually think, or people who have little to no cognitive distortions actually think. So it's kind of like that realization moment, like, oh, not a lot of people actually think this way. It just feels it feels isolating because it's not easy to just go up to someone and be like, you have depression, or like find someone who relate, because like you can't just ask someone about whether or not they have a mental illness that straightforward. I mean, I think so. I think it's gonna make them feel uncomfortable. So yeah, and then because of that thinking that like how I think is basically different than from how normal people think, I find myself in these situations where I'm like, how would a normal people think? How would a normal person think? Like how would a normal person think if they were in this situation? So like let's say I'm in a social situation and I'm spiraling. I'm like, how would a normal person think in this situation? But then okay, I understand it. Like I have these conceptions and like basically logical assumptions, but I can't actually bring myself to do that, because that would mean like having to dissect every single thing, every single like cognitive distortion that you still have embedded in your mind, and try to pull yourself out of that. But like it's already embedded, it's basically embedded in me still. I can't easily just not, like I can't even snap a finger. I can't just get rid of that. That's the other point that makes me kind of laugh. I guess another point is like, okay, it's related again to the main idea of not thinking like normal people, but it's like in the sense that some of the stuff I think about or worry about, or like some of the stuff that I worry about and then overthink about for the next like 5 days, or unconsciously am guilty about in my head, are totally like petty things to other people. Like I can imagine other people who do not have, at least I can imagine people who do not have mental illness like they just literally like put it off, like, oh, okay. But I can't do that. Like I cannot just bring myself to do that. Like I can't adjust for that. So it's kind of funny in the sense that like, why do I do this? Like it's not even that much of a serious thing to most people. So yeah. And then those nuances. Okay, and then the other main point that makes me laugh is like the nuances essentially, because I found myself earlier like laughing and like being really excited and happy about this one like show, slice of life show I'm watching. But then like of 20 minutes earlier I was about to sob or something, like I felt like I wanted to cry. So it's like that random change of emotion that makes me laugh because of how weird it is. And again, it's from that same idea that having mental illness or having mental illnesses, like you find that they have conflict with one another almost all the time. And that is what I'm actually experiencing right now. It's like pretty much at its peak. Like it's probably like, if this is like CBAS, this is like probably an A version of like depression and anxiety working together to try to make me go crazy or something like that. So I guess they kind of did a good job. I mean, because the thing is, guys, last night was it's kind of getting long. It's 12 minutes, but like the last thing that I think is kind of funny is like I imagine depression and anxiety as like people. Sometimes I imagine them as like people, but I separate them from myself. I don't think of them as a version of myself because I find it helpful to think that way. So I imagine them just working together. Like it's like a group work. Di sila pabigat to each other. I wish I had that. But like, they think of ways to make me be crazy at the most important times of my life. Like right now, starting senior high school, and they just decided to like have their biggest project, to like conduct their biggest project on me. So that's just amazing. Like, I don't know, I find that really cool. I think they're smart people, So I want to hear you guys. I want to hear your guys' thoughts or like experiences of depression and or anxiety, or maybe even just your cognitive distortions, because low-key going crazy. But like, yeah, I really have to deal with it. By the way, if you're dealing with mental illness, I really recommend Perks of Being a Wallflower. Like I've never come across a book or a movie that portrayed mental illness so well. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are like other very, very good portrayals of mental illness in media. But I mean, I just think it's pretty worth it to read and watch because it's really relatable, especially in like the lens of depression. But I'm pretty sure anxiety as well. So yeah, I guess that's it.